Are you still training with knees behind your toes, doing squats like this, or doing lunges like this, keeping your knees behind your toes or maximum over your toes but not beyond? Then guess what? This might cause back pain for you. Let me explain. So when we bend over, we have more lever on the back. This is physics, right? But naturally, to decrease load on the back, you can go down as straight as possible. But see what happens with my knees when I squat down. They go beyond the toes. So from the side, it looks like this, right? But we were told by many fitness experts that we should keep our knees behind the toes. Now look what it does. If I were to give myself a restriction here, how could I possibly go down? Only if I have very, very good hip mobility, then I can keep my knees behind my toes, but then I tend to fall back, right? So the only way I can keep my stability and actually play with my kid or do something on the ground or do gardening work is actually moving my knees forward. Well, guess what? This is what every one of us did when we were babies. When you were a baby, you played on the ground like this. Your knees naturally came forward and no one told you as a baby not to do that. Why? Because it's just natural, okay? So the knees over toes thing is a myth that developed in the 50s. So you also see that Olympic weightlifters, they squat and lift with their knees over toes. Why? It's the only natural movement that we were meant to do. We were not meant to keep our knees behind our toes. Same goes for the lunge. So I can lunge like this and then come up again, or I can lunge like this. There's nothing bad about it, but the thing is, if you lunge or squat onto a 90-degree angle, your patella here, that knee plate, that is in an angle with the most load on your knee. So in the 90-degree angle, you have more load on the joint than on your muscles. Whereas when you go down, you recruit more muscles and going up again and down with the hip below knee level. So what's also super important now for back pain is that you do this movement regularly. You have to go knees over toes regularly, also with the lunges, because your back is fully secure here. However, you are missing out on that crucial angle, that crucial mobility angle in your ankles if you do not go beyond the toes with your knees. So if I only do my lunges like this all the time, as you can see, my ankle does not move much. It loses that mobility. So what you want to do is have that mobility. Imagine you had a wall here in front of you. So you want to see, can you touch the wall with your knee while keeping the heel on the ground? So ankle mobility is super important, and this can be trained by going knees over toes, which will not hurt your knees at all. Whether it's in squat position or doing lunges like this while keeping your heels on the ground, this will help you to squat down, to do things freely when you play with your grandchildren or with your son, or do gardening work without putting more pressure and load on the back. Otherwise, your back is always compensating. This is the secret to a stronger back.